This video is a continuation of our wire figure. We've created a skeletal form and added mass to the upper portion of the body, and now we're going to add mass to the lower portion of the body. Here's a completed figure to get an idea of what that might look like, and they're going to look a little different depending on your approach and how you chose to add wire in different places. So what you will need is your wire figure in progress. So this is after adding mass part 1, which was the rib cage, the head, and then continuing down both arms, and we cut at the wrist. So now you should have 2 pieces that you cut off from the arms. Here's my 2 pieces put into loops just to keep them organized. And you're going to pick a side and continue down that side, and then we'll do the other side. I'll start with the right first. So this should be approximately, maybe about 16 inches. One should be shorter than the other because you used it to create the head. So first thing, make a hook. It's kind of like a J, kind of like a shape of a J. And that's just going to allow us to hook it around the waist because these little edges can get sharp, and I didn't provide you with tools. So a little hook to go around the waist to start with so it can secure into place. I'm going to go right leg first just because, no reason. So I'm going to hook this on the waist and keeping the figure steady. I'm just going to wrap it around. So now it's connected to the body. And I want to loop it around the hip so I'm able to come and make the thigh muscle. So I'm going to do the thread the needle technique where I take the end of it and I poke it through the pelvic bone area, that lower circle. I'm just feeding it through to make it easier. A little push and pull, just wrapping it around here so I can work my way down to the hip. I'm going to do another thread the needle, through, pull it through, a little push and pull, to get it to where I want. And I've ended up at the hip. So now I want to make the muscle in the front. This is kind of my skeleton. Think of this as like the bone, and we're going to add mass to it. So I'm going to aim for the knee, and to help me locate the knee, I got my drawing. Remember this? So let's see. I can estimate it's going to be right about here. If you have access to a Sharpie and you want to mark where the knee will be, you could put a little mark, or you could just kind of simply point it with your finger as you wrap. So that's the knee. Let me put my drawing aside. See, I have my little black mark there. If that helps, if you have a Sharpie. If not, then just kind of eyeball it and see where it's going to go. I like to hold the figure steady and wrap around. I like to do a little extra on the knee just to give it more substance because it is a joint. Calf muscle in the back. So I did put the thigh muscle in the front and the calf muscle in the back. I'm just focusing on the muscles first. Holding it steady, a little wrap around the ankle. And then I'm going to trace the existing foot wire. I'm just going to kind of trace it with my wire. So it just like copies the same loop. So it's just like a double loop. And one wrap around the ankle. And now I'm going to go back up. So I made my way to the bottom. And now I'm going to do front of the leg, maybe a little bit smaller. Obviously not as much muscle in the front. Depending on what you want to do, here's your creative freedom. If you want a little bit more bulky of a figure or a little bit more slim, wrap around the knee. And I only have, what's that, about maybe 4 inches left. And so that's all I need to come up the back of the leg. And here's where I can make a decision. I could kind of make a little booty in the back. I could wrap it more around the waist or the hip. You can kind of decide aesthetically, artistically, what you want to do. I'm going to thread the needle this way. And maybe I will kind of take it up to the back and then wrap it around the waist. Let's see, how about this way? Seems to make sense. Ooh. When it's sharp like and short like that, you kind of have to press it on the table to tuck it back into place so that you're not pinching with your fingers. So that's kind of a booty shape, if you want. Okay, so right side is done. Starting at the waist, coming down, and I have to adjust it because it's all lumpy. But that I do at the end. So my second piece of wire, uncoil it. Make a little hook. Make a J. Remember, obviously, you can pause and rewind this video as needed so that you can achieve your pace. Find your pace to achieve your work. So yeah, little hook. I'm going to go around this way. Hook it in place. I'm going to go one wrap around. Oops. And end up on the left. So now I've got it. It's pretty secure. I'm going to do a little thread the needle to connect it down to the hip. So I'm going to come from the back. Pull it through. Just to secure it in place. Oops. Pulling it through. All right, now I'm at the hip. So now I want to come down to the knee, and I can estimate where my knee is going to be based on the first leg that I did. So I'm going to say right about here. I do want to get the mass to be as similar as possible because our bodies are basically symmetrical. Let's see, is that about right? Yeah. Okay. Holding the body, wrapping with your other hand a couple times around for the knee, and ending up in the back allows you to make the calf muscle. Wrap around the ankle once. Trace the wire around the existing loop for the foot. And once around the ankle. Now I'm back to the front. I don't know why I like to do the front of the thigh muscle and then the back of the calf. I don't know, it just makes sense to me. If you don't do it that way, if you do front and front, come around the foot and do the back and the back, that's fine too. This isn't like the only single right way to do any of this. So I'm showing you the side view. Here's the front of the leg, holding it tight, wrapping around the knee, nice and tight. Oh, I'm gonna go one more, because now I have the back of the leg. It's a little lumpy. Oh, that's okay. All right, what do I want to do with this? I'll loop it this way, thread the needle. However you're attaching it back up to the hip. I think I'm going to do something different. I'm going to keep this as like the middle. Yeah. Here's another option. You can add a line across the chest like you see in this one. The line across the chest just adds that visual perspective. It's up to you. If you have enough, if not, you can just stop here and wrap it around to end it. I'm going to... let's see. I'm going to loop around this part, thread the needle. So I'm going to make the line around the rib cage. Just what I choose to do. It's not something you have to do. It is a little added feature. If you choose. All right. So that's adding mass part 2. Starting at the waist and working your way down, legs, knee, ankle, loop around the foot, and back up, ending near the hips, or perhaps even the chest, if that makes sense to you. Hope that works well for you. See you next time.